Om Namah Shivaya. Hello my friends all over the world. I am Srisubroto, a scholar, a lover of Indian spirituality, your host in this series. Now this video, the topic of this video is Indian spirituality and manliness. In Hindi it becomes Bharatiya ADHYATMIKATA-aur BIRTA. This kind of topic variously discussed and very many times, but even then every age needs its own explanation, own interpretation, own discussion. And so this time this topic needs to be discussed. This time we'll discuss a very single question, though it has got various ramifications. The question is, what is a spiritual life in Indian context? What is a spiritual life in terms of Vedic, Upanishadic and Bhagavad Gita's perspective? Because there are enough confusions in the world. Sometimes, in most of the cases I've seen, people think, outside people, think that Indian spirituality means Gandhi's mass non-violence, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi's non-violence, and his Ramdhun as if Raghupati Raghava Raja Ram, that's all. Sometimes people also think wearing turban or shaven heads with colored cloths, robes, makes Indian spiritual life. Sometimes people think otherwise also. We need to discuss that in terms of, in the background of Vedas, Bhagavad Gita, etc. This is very important. There are reasons for that. As we proceed, you'll find that it has got an importance at this point of time. Now, spirituality is a total living. In Indian context, spirituality is the life of totality. When Indian spirituality says, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the whole world is my relative, or there is a Matri Shukta or Bhumi Shukta in the Vedas, and in that Shukta it has been said, Mata Bhumi Putro Aham Pratibhya, my mother, Earth is my mother, I am her son. It has been said thousands and thousands years ago in Pritibhi Shukta, in the Vedas. Now, a spiritual life, a spiritual being, a spiritual man, a man who thinks himself spiritual, practices spirituality in Indian context, cannot live without loving the whole earth, cannot make any discrimination between human beings, among human beings, amongst creatures, animals, because that man or these people, spiritual people, feel that everything has got life, living, understanding that livingness is a very basic character of the whole world, of the whole creation perhaps. And that's why a spiritual being wants to live with the whole universe, wants to live with the whole creation, feels so, lives in totality. But at the same time, spirituality, as I have already told earlier also, deals with dharma, truth and love, satya and prema. So the spiritual beings, spiritual men and women, feels that they have got their duty to protect this dharma too, when this dharma is in danger. Now comes the relevance of Bhagavad Gita and Sri Krishna, the greatest motivator ever born. Sri Krishna is motivating Arjuna, who is in hesitation, in despondency, whether to fight or not in the Kurukshetra Yuddha, in the Kurukshetra war. Because the situation is very troublesome. His relatives are standing in the opposition, and all are seniors, Bhishma, Drona, and so on and so forth. He is hesitant. Sri Krishna motivating him and said, Klaidvyangamashmagamapartha naitat tajupapadyate khudrang ridya daurbalyang tekto tishta parantapa. Hey Arjuna, O Arjuna, leave this petty faint-heartedness, this unmanliness, and fight for justice. This is the message Sri Krishna gave throughout the Bhagavad Gita. This unmanliness never suits you. You are a warrior. This is your dharma. Warrior to establish justice. Klebhyangamashamgapartha naitattayupapadyate khudrang ridya daurbalyang tekto tishta parantapa. And then he must say, after 2 chapters or so, Sri Krishna gave his principle as an incarnation of the Supreme Being. He said, Yada yada hi dharmasya glani bhavati bharata abhutyanam adharmasya tadatmanam sijam. But for why? Paritrana ashadunam vinashaya cha dushkitam dharma sangstapanarthaya shambhavami yuge yuge. This is his principle. This is a message to the world. Whenever there is in danger, dharma is in danger. Whenever good people are suffering, whenever righteousness is suffered under unrighteousness, under adharma, then I will come. In every age I will come. This is the message Sri Krishna has given. Sri Krishna, the best of this spiritual man ever born in Indian soil. He gave this message. And that's why when you read scriptures, Indian scriptures, Vedas, Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, you'll find one thing it seems peculiar to sometimes some people, but there is no contradiction when you realize that Shastra and Astra, weapons and scriptures, dharma and defense, discipline, they go together without making any contradiction, because there is no contradiction at all. The main point here is that in spiritual life there is an importance of making yourself ready, keeping yourself ready even for fighting for Dhamma or Dharma, for truth and love and compassion, which makes life better for the whole universe, for the whole world, I must say. So there is no contradiction between the two. And then I want to refer to the last 1 or 2 century history of India. From Vivekananda to Subhash Chandra Bose, from Bankim Chandra Chatterjee to Sri Aurobindo Ghosh, all are very prominent people, prominent Indians who fought for Indian independence or strived for Indian independence. They were all spiritual people in their core. But they fought, or they patronized, they fought, they showed the way how to get independence. You know about Swamiji. He's the basic call for students' community, for the young generation, is to rise awake and stop not till the goal is reached. And you know Subhash Chandra Bose, Netaji. He fought against Britishers. He was a very spiritual person in the core. Now spirituality gives you that courage to fight for the people. Fight for genuineness. Fight for justice. Spirituality is not for weak, feeble-hearted persons. There is no relationship between unmanliness and spirituality. So when somebody says Mahatma's non-violence is the basic of Indian spirituality, I try to laugh on it. This is not so. Non-violence, of course, has an importance. But remember, you are in peace, you are doing spiritual exercises, practices, meditation and all that. When your people are standing in the borders with AK-47, the defense, the military, they are giving you that weather, that climate, that environment to meditate, to proceed, to feel truth. So your meditation, your exercise, your yoga, your breathing exercises, your practice of spirituality, all in a way dependent to our military, to our defense, with AK-47 or whatever you call it. There is a connection, and the connection is very clear. If you don't understand, that's your fault. Indian spirituality of the Vedas and Upanishads is a spirituality of the brave people, of the courageous people. Before concluding my talk, I love to repeat that prayer of the rishis of the Vedas, where they pray. Tejovashi, they are praying to the Supreme Being. Tejovashi tejamai dehi, virjang yashi virjangmai dehi, balamashi valangmai dehi, ojovashi ojmai dehi. You are the energy, give me energy. You are vigor, make me full of vigor. You are strength, give me strength. You are life force, give me that force. This is their prayer. Where is the weakness? Where is the timidness? Where is the meekness? You won't get it. So, Indian spirituality are the Vedas and the Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita and of course of Sri Krishna. Never taught you to be weak, to be without courage, to be timid and live in the caves alone, but to be brave, fight for truth, help others to fight, and make a society where each and every people can live happily and with full of love and enjoyment. Thank you very much. Thank you again for listening and giving your precious time for me. Thank you again. Hare Krishna.